Today we're going to talk about the volume of cylinders. Before we start, let's review volume of a rectangular prism. A volume of a rectangular prism, we use the formula length times width times height. Since this is a rectangle base, the length times width is really finding the area of the base. So if we look at this, base layer is 4 by 2. The area of the base is 8 square units. Then we multiply that by the height of 3 to get the answer of 24 cubic units. We talked about this a little bit last week, that you can use this formula, volume equals area of the base times the height, for any prism. So that is what we're going to use to find the volume of a cylinder. On our notes here, we have two formulas. Volume equals big B times H, and volume equals pi r squared H. We also see that big B equals pi r squared. So these formulas are actually the same, but this first one, it just shows a little bit more emphasis that we're using area of the base. And that's useful because sometimes you're given the area of the base, then you don't even need to use the radius. In our first example, we are given radius and height. So we can use the radius to find the area of the base. We've talked last week about an area of a circle. So we can find the area of that circular base and then multiply by the height. In this problem, the height is 12. Even though it's sideways, our cylinder is laying on its side. Remember that the height is always the distance between the two bases. So pi r squared is our formula for area of a circle, and we'll multiply that by the height to find volume. Now I'm going to leave the pi at first. I'm not going to do anything with it yet, because radius squared times height is math I can do mentally. 3 squared is 3 times 3, 9, times 12 is 108. So my answer is going to be 108 times pi. Sometimes you can leave your answer like that. So it might be useful to be able to leave it like that, but I can also calculate that 108 times pi in my calculator, and it's about 339.3. So 339.3 inches cubed. Volume is always in cubic units. The second one is a little different because we are not given radius, we're given diameter. But diameter does not show up in these formulas, radius does. So the first thing we need to do is find the radius. Radius is half of the diameter. So since diameter is 14, radius is 7, and the height is 20. So I'll use the same formula again. Pi r squared h. Remember, pi r squared is finding the area of the circle. So we pi times 7 squared times 20. And because of commutative property, I can multiply these first. I'm pretty sure I can do this one in my head, but 7 times 7 times 20, 980. That's what I thought. So it will be 980 times pi. And like I said, sometimes you can leave it like that, but we can also multiply this by pi, and we get 3078.8. 3078.8 cubic centimeters. So today for our Desmos activity, It's going to be helpful to type your answer in like this because the Desmos calculator will calculate this for you. So these calculations you can do mentally and then type pi next to it for your calculation. So again, remember, area of the base for any prism, including cylinders.